Welcome back to Me, My Bike and I. I'm Rich, and today we're going to finish off the top end of the XV535 engine. In my last video I rebuilt the bottom end of the engine, so that was assembling the crankcase halves, all the internals and the external components, including putting the pistons on top of the column rods. But that's as far as I got, because I only had this piston ring compressor, which is completely unsuitable for this type of engine. Unfortunately, it will work on some motorcycles, but not others. So I bought this set, and this was about £12, and it will do the job just nicely. And it's pretty universal. So all I need to do is just put these through my homemade parts washer and get them all clean. The only gallery that I need to worry about is this one here, same on the rear, just to make sure that's all clear okay, and change these little, look like collars. I didn't know what they were before in my set, but that's two new rings for there, that's where they go. And I don't have replacements for these rings, so I'll have to reuse those. The stud that should be in there is just in the head at the moment, so I think it's better off sitting in the barrel for obvious reasons when I fit the head, and so I'm just going to extract that from the head and fit it now. If I just try and pull that with pliers, it's not gonna budge, and I'll end up scratching or damaging something. Not convinced that even moved, so let's try round two. Nah. I ain't gonna move, I ain't gonna make it. It's I'm running the risk of damaging the cylinder head, and I don't want to do that, so I'll leave it where it is. I'd have preferred it in the barrel, but never mind. I'll be absolutely honest, of all the schematics that I look at online, all these barrels only ever seem to have this one dowel and no O-rings, so I don't get it. I mean, what's the point? It's got a 3-piece steel gasket. It's not doing anything. And if it is doing something, why isn't there one there? Just cleaning up the mating surface for the barrel here, so I'm going to take that little bit of goo off from the gasket material. Clean that bit off already, and that bit doesn't matter because it steps down, so the barrel doesn't touch it. Not only does it step down there, it steps down again, weirdly, but it's not relevant. Sorry if this is a little grainy. Just doing a bit of close-up on the old videometer, and it always goes a little bit like that. It's not particularly high def. All sorted there, look nice and clean. Took the piston back off to do that, easiest way. Okay, I just wanted to get that cleaned up, but this is all ready to go on. You've just got the single bolt, which is, yeah, ridiculous in my view, that side. Clearly the head bolts down uniformly on top, but until it does, you've got one torqued bolt on one side of the cylinder, which I think is ridiculous. So anyway, new base gaskets, new rings for the bottom of the barrel, new collar gasket, and everything's been cleaned up. Obviously very simple, you've just got one oil channel. So having looked at all of the diagrams as much as possible, I've solved the mystery of these two O-rings that were sat here on top of the cylinders when I took the cylinder heads off, that to me looked completely out of place. Notwithstanding the fact that there was only one O-ring and there's two dowels, you've also got a flat surface on top of the cylinder and a flat surface underneath the cylinder head where they mate together with the head gasket, and you just don't need an O-ring at all. And in all the diagrams that I looked at, no O-rings. However, there should be an O-ring right here on top of the block that sits right underneath the cylinder, around the oil gallery, and when I took the cylinders out, those O-rings were definitely missing. So I think we should just put these O-rings in their rightful place. I know this engine's been taken apart. If you look at the underside of these cylinder heads, you can see they are 2GV, which is the US model. This bike is a UK model, the engine is 2YL. So somebody's replaced these cylinder heads at some point and just mixed things up, putting it all back. Anyway, mystery solved. Let's drop the barrels on. It's a little bit tricky because I've got to get the barrel down over the piston, hold the compressor, and make sure I get the chain and tensioner through the tunnel at the same time. Don't know how easy this is to see, but just slipping the gasket over. Okay, that seems like a perfect fit, so let's just pop the new O-ring on. Don't think you can over oil. You probably can, but the advice is to apply plenty of oil, so I'm applying plenty of oil. So I've got the ring compressor just slightly below the top of the piston, which will allow the barrel to go down on top of it, as it just has. And then hopefully I can lower the barrel whilst lowering the ring compressor. Let's see if that works. So you can see the bottom of the barrel there is well past the rings, it's down by the wrist pin. So I just need to make sure the tensioner and the chain go up through the tunnel. Just wiggle this compressor out of the way. Right, I've just tied the chain up because it's going to be a bit easier than trying to hold that as well. Pulled the ring compressor out, which was a bit of a fiddle. So let's see if we can wiggle this barrel down. Nothing actually stopping it from moving, it's probably just if it's ski whiff in the barrel. Ah, there you go, see? Got my fingers under it and straightened it a little bit. And once it's down through past the bottom of the skirt, I think you're fine, you're home dry. Not sure what that clunk was. Probably hitting the top of a dowel or something. No, not that far yet. Don't know. That's home. That's the first side done. Right, I'm going to do, just lower the piston on the, using the clutch just to turn the crank. Try and get a bit of oil down the barrels, and that'll just help it on its first start up. It must be making a good seal because that's just running over the side. Right, got it on, got it past the rings. And done. Well, that's both barrels on. It only needs to be bolted down now and it's complete, but I'm not going to do this up. I have been complaining endlessly about the single bolt situation on the side of the barrels, which just seems senseless to me. From an engineering point of view, I can't fathom why they would put one bolt one side and not the other. That stud there is actually for the cylinder head when it goes on, as are these four of course. Why would you bother putting one bolt in on the barrels that side? But you can access it through a little hole in the cylinder head, so I'm going to wait until I've got those done and on before I tighten this one up, and then it can all get torqued up uniformly as you'd expect it to, without any kind of threat to warpage or anything like that. It would make more sense if that was just slightly longer and perhaps was flanged and it was just another bolt torquing the cylinder head down. You have got these two bolt holes of course, which are also cylinder head bolts. So essentially you've got two on the cylinder head this side and one this side. Why, I don't know, but you know, as I say, I'm not an engineer, I didn't design it, what do I know? Well, that was one of the easiest jobs I've done on this engine so far, nice and straightforward. Cleared up a couple of mysteries, learning a few things. Hope you're enjoying coming along to watch. Next video I'm going to strip down these cylinder heads, clean up the combustion chambers of carbon and the valves, lap them back in, that kind of thing. More importantly, I just want to make sure there's no rubbish inside them like I've found elsewhere in the engine, fragments of metal, that kind of thing. And once I've done all that, I'll be happy to get them back on the engine and move on to the next stages. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and I will see you on the next video.